Hi, John Morgan here with Bob's Market and Greenhouses, and welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Live, our weekly show right here on the internet. So to get things started off today, let's take a look at some announcements. And we've got two big announcements. One needs to be taken care of right away, and that is our Yard of the Month contest. So if you're interested in entering the contest, you need to send a picture of your yard to the email address ask@bobsmarket.com. And today is the last day of August. So those submissions are due today. And if you get them to me either today, try to get them no later than the end of Saturday, the end of tomorrow. I'll still take them for August if you get them in by then. But yeah, send your pictures to the email address ask@bobsmarket.com to be entered. And the other big announcement is our fall color tour. This is actually the first fall color tour that we've done. We've done tours in the fall before, but they've always been for private groups. And our fall color tour is going to be on Saturday, September 22nd. That's actually the very first day of fall. And the tour is going to start at 2 p.m. at our production facility here in Mason, West Virginia. All right, now let's move along to what we've been talking about the last couple weeks in the newsletter. Last week we covered, oh my mind just went blank. We covered planting turnips. That's it. And this week we talked about planting Swiss chard. So yesterday evening I filmed a short video on how easy it is to plant these fall vegetables. And, you know, there's a whole list of cold hardy vegetables that you can plant in the fall. And most of them are leaf crops. Things like Swiss chard, spinach, kale. All of these are great things that you can plant in the fall. And most of them can even survive some amount of frost. So here's how I plant them at home. Hi, John Morgan here with Bob's Market and Greenhouses. And this evening, we're actually here at my house. And I'm getting ready to plant this flower bed, not with flowers, but with vegetables, for a nice fall, mainly leafy green vegetable garden. So I'm going to be planting things like black-seeded Simpson leaf lettuce, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, and turnips. Now I've got a ton of turnip seed here, so I'm going to use these elsewhere also. But the reason why I do this is because my garden tends to stay kind of wet in the late fall and into the winter time. So once I plant it, if I was to plant it in my garden, it would eventually get too wet for me to get in the garden to harvest it. So by planting it here in the flower bed, it's right beside my house where it's easy to get at. You know, I can just come out here and pick a nice salad. Alright, so earlier I did the hard part of tilling up this flower bed and getting it ready to plant. But all of these leafy vegetable varieties are pretty easy to plant. You basically just scatter the seeds and lightly rake them in and then give them a good watering. And that's really all there is to it. So the first thing I'm going to plant is right along here, and it's going to be the Swiss chard. Now, a trick that I learned a while back is on a lot of seed packets, they put the name up at the top, and I always like to hang on to the seed packets. I'll stick them in here, so that way I can look back at and know what I've planted there, at least until they sprout. So a helpful tip is to tip the packet upside down, make sure, you know, all the seeds are down at the bottom, or well, the top, and then you can rip the bottom off to get the seeds. And, you know, that works great. So when it comes to planting these, I'm just going to get a handful here and just scatter them out through. Really, there's not much technique to it. And most of these are pretty easy when it comes to getting them to sprout. So that's all there was to planting those. I'll just go back now and gently rake it with my hands to kind of work the seeds down in, and then I'll water it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for these. So, there you have it, a quick and easy fall vegetable garden. For this and other great information, visit us online at bobsmarket.com. And we got the mule. That would be Dorito the mule. Anyhow, that's all there is to planting a lot of these leafy vegetables. You know, you just scatter the seeds, give them a little rake and some water, and you're good to go. If you're interested in planting a fall garden, let's take a look at the weather forecast for this weekend. And, you know, the big news weather-wise this past week was Hurricane Isaac. And we're still looking at the remnants of the hurricane moving up out of Louisiana and up into the Midwest. And I know New Orleans got hit kind of hard, but the Midwest, they really needed this rain. And as the remnants continue to break apart, it's going to get pushed our way as the weekend continues. So tomorrow, we're looking at the chance of showers and thunderstorms. And then it's going to become more widespread into Sunday. So Sunday, it's definitely going to be rainy. And of course, Monday is Labor Day. So all of us, or most of us rather, have it off. So what's the weather going to be like? Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be kind of rainy. Monday, the remnants of Isaac should be breaking up over our area, and we should be starting to dry out a little bit, but there's still going to be some lingering showers and thunderstorms. So, how does that look as far as allergies go? The rain is a good thing, and on into this weekend, that rain is going to help wash some of the pollen out of the air. So, things are going to get better if you're suffering from allergies like I am. But right now, our scale is around an 8.3, so it's still up in the high range. And just like last week, our main pollen concern right now is ragweed. And here's a map of the distribution of ragweed pollen. And of course, with this rain going through, that's going to add some moisture to the soil, and that in turn is going to help the mold growth. So also, mold spores are kind of high right now. So our two main pollen concerns are weed pollen, mainly ragweed, and mold spores. And well, that pretty much finishes up our show for this week. To end the show this week, I have an update video of what's happening here at Bob's. And I just filmed it today. And what it is the automated transplanting machine that we have. So it's pretty cool to watch how it works. I tried to get in really close to it so you could actually see how it operates. So enjoy this, and I'll see you next week at 4 p.m.